Alright, welcome. We're going to talk a little bit about color today and RGB values and how to get complementary and analogous colors right inside of Photoshop, and then also just how to look at the colors. So, if we click on our color picker over here, we get this palette and we see the RGB values over here. So, first of all, if I want to pick, let's just pick a color. Let's just pick a color with the color picker. So I'm going to go up here into sort of this purplish color. And here are my values. Let's just make them, well, let's just talk about these really quick. So I'm going to explain the hex number too. The purpose of a hex number is that when you use a computer to pick colors, the way that it works is mathematically it picks between a value of 0 and 255 because that's how many bits it has to work with in the computer's memory. So that's 256, which is, based off of squared numbers. 0 counts as an integer, and then 255 is the highest that you can go. The reason for having these numbers down here, these first two numbers are the red value. The second two are the green value. The third set are the blue value. Now you're thinking, well, it goes up all the way to 255, but I only have two numbers to represent that. Oh, and one of them's a B and one of them's a C. What does this mean? Well, the way that hex numbers work, and this is for mainly when you do web design, you want to be able to do everything very quickly. You want everything in the code to be very concise. So what people have done to shorten the amount of time that they spend on picking their colors is they use a hexadecimal system for choosing the numbers. So that's, instead of being based on 10, a base 10 number system, it's based on 16. So basically this first value, it's like this is your 10's place, this is your 16th's place. And they all go on based on 16. So if I wanted to have 17 17 bits for the red value, what this is actually going to look like is 1 and 1, because when you get up to you go from 0 all the way up to F is what you do. So you have 0 to 9 are your first 10, and then you have A, B, C, D, E, and F, and that goes up to 16. So what this means is when you need to go to 17, your 0 in the placeholder goes up to 1, and then you add, that's 16. So in the 1's place, that's 16, and then you add whatever's in this place to it. So it would be, if this was a 1, it would be 1, instead of it being like 11, it would be 1 and 1 would be 17. So let's just do that right now, and I'll show you how that works. So we said we wanted this to be 17. There it is. So 1 is 16, and then 1 makes 17. Same thing here. If we wanted this to be 33, that would make 2 16, so 16 plus 16 is 32, and then you want to add a 1 in the 1's place. Let's even just say we want it to be 34. So this would be a 2. So this is going to be 2, 2. So if I make the green value 34, it's going to be 2, 2. There you go. Same thing, you start going into, let's just say I want it to be 30 over here. So that's going to be a 16 in this place, and then I got to add 14 over here if I want it to be 30. So what is 14? After we get to 9, A is 10, B is 11, C is 13, or C is 12, D is 13, E is 14. So this is going to be 1E. Let's just see if 1E makes this 30 in the blue. Can get it to go over there. There we go. And there it is, 30. So that's how the hexadecimal system works. It's only important to know this because you need to understand how intensifying the amounts of red, green, and blue are choosing different colors. So if let's just say that I'm going to make the red value, I want to have a really magenta color. So then I know mixing, let's just say 2 A's of red, 0 of green, and 2 A's, there's my magenta. Now if I'd made this FF and FF, I'd have a super high dose of magenta. That's a little more red because I've made the red higher than the blue. So that gives me a little more of a pinky magenta. This is going to give me a pure magenta right here. That's pure magenta. Let's just say we wanted pure yellow. So how do we make pure yellow with additive color? We have a full percentage of red and green because mixing red and green, which are primaries in additive color, makes yellow. So we're going to have FF, FF, 0, 0, and that makes pure yellow. So these are kind of how you're getting different colors just by having, here's your 255 of red, 255 of green, and nothing in blue. Now when you start adding blue to a pure color, like blue would be the complement of yellow. So if we started adding some blue in there, we're going to actually just brown up our yellow a little bit. It's going to become a little muddied. So that muddied it a little bit, but it's a very low amount. Let's go all the way up to 200 and see how muddy it is. Okay, it's also getting closer to white because we have full volume of everything. Remember, if we have 255 bits of all red, green, and blue, we have pure white. So let's lower all of these to 200, which is going to, if they're all the same amount, it's going to be what? Gray. It's going to be gray. Some version of gray. This would be a very light gray because we're pretty close to white. But we wanted to have that blue in our yellow and make it a little bit muddy. So now we're starting to get a brown. It's getting closer to brown here. The lower we go, the less light we have. Let's take this down to 120 and this down to 120, equal parts red and green. Now we have a really almost gray because this is we almost have equal amounts. So I'm going to take this down a little bit more, let some of that yellow shine through. Let's go to 7. So now we have this sort of olive color. It's very brown. So these are how you get the different colors, just by having different amounts of red, green, and blue. So what we're going to do is thinking about between 0 and 255 with the different RGB values. What we're going to do is I'm going to let you pick complementary colors. They don't have to be pure colors. If you just wanted to go on the color wheel and let's just say that you liked this color right here. I'm actually going to make it so that it's a little bit easier numbers to work with. Let's just make this 180. So there's a nice blue. What's the complement of blue with additive color? We know that blue is a primary color, so its complement is going to be a secondary color, and it's going to be the secondary of mixing the other two colors. So blue, the opposite or the complement of blue, is going to be yellow. Here we have 180, which is, let's pull out a little calculator here. Alright, there's my calculator. Oh, by the way, you can always use this calculator to do hex numbers. You can see there it is. If you ever want to know what a hex number is, like if I wanted to know what B4 is, and I go into hex and I type B4 and then I go back to base 10, I know it's 180. Pretty cool, huh? Okay, so let's see. red plus green plus blue. We have 40, 100, and 180. So with our complement, we're going to have the highest amount of red. Let's see. Let's make that 180. Let's make that 40. Well, that's not the complement of that blue. And why is that? It's because we can't just switch the numbers around. What we have to do is actually go and use the calculator and do the math. Okay, so this was 40, and this was 180. Okay, here's my calculator. I'll keep losing it. Alright, so to get the opposite, we're going to subtract all of these from 255. So 250, oops, clear. 255 minus 180 is 75. So this is going to now be 75. 255 minus 100, I don't need a calculator to do that. I know that's 155. And then 255, I know this, but I'll do it anyway. Clear. 255 minus 40 is going to be 215. 215. So there's the complement of our blue that we had, because it wasn't a pure blue. And you can see this is a yellow, but it's got quite a bit of red in it. It's almost orange. And that just is based on the amounts of red, blue, and green we had in that previous blue color. So this is the complement. If you're going to use complementary colors, this is what you would do mathematically to get that. If you're going to use analogous colors, you're going to make your life probably a lot easier, because analogous colors you can pick really anything next to each other on the color wheel. The only thing that I would say is keep this in the same spot. Like if it's not as bright, like if we have lower values of everything, we're going closer to black instead of closer to white, or closer to pure, then just leave it here. So analogous colors are next to each other on the color wheel, so you could go this way and have these two colors as your analogous colors that you're using. Or you can go this way and have these two colors. So you can use analogous colors, or you can use complementary colors and black for your next assignment.